Welcome back to the DBF Garage. On the last video, I built a cut table for my CNC Arctroid plasma cutter. So on today's video, we're going to install a water pan and the arm that's going to support the torch as it cuts, and maybe a few other little mods. So let's get going. So this right here is going to be the makings of the water pan that's going to go underneath it. So what this is 14 gauge steel, and I had our local steel supply yard actually put the brakes in this plate for me, and then I had them shear the end caps for me. So the way this is going to work is this edge and this edge is going to bolt underneath the main frame. So I've got all my holes marked out on this thing. We're going to go ahead, plunk some holes in this piece, and then we'll actually disassemble the table, flip it upside down, drill holes, nut cert it, and bolt this thing into place. And then once we get that done, I'll actually come in and weld the end caps on it and put the drain for the water in the bottom of it. That's not good. Great. That's the wrong size. That's fantastic. All right, well, not gonna be as easy as I thought. Still shouldn't be too bad. Let me show you what's going on. So this is supposed to be 2 feet deep, just like the table. When they broke this, it tends to stretch on the bends itself, so it's going to grow a little bit. Well, the problem of it is I don't think they accounted for that, and overall dimensions of this one, 24.5. So it's hanging over about 1/4 inch on each side. So I'm going to have to wrap a strap around this. That way I can run my bolts down through it and still be all right. Not a huge deal, but kind of a pain in the butt. All right, let's do that again. Happy little yellow strap, kind of like so. Hey, okie dokie. I think I can actually deal with that. Yeah. I don't hate it. Yeah, that sucked it right in. Now that's going to cause some problems down the road when I go to weld the end caps on, because now instead of it having basically a straight shot across, it's going to have a, you know, a bow, a bubble, a bump, shaped kind of like my belly. It's all right. Got a lot of money into this bump on my belly. Yeah, I'm out of shape. Yeah. Okay, so let's clamp this thing down, mark the holes, and drill some more holes in this thing, shall we? So when I had the pan off of this, I showed you where I was going to drill each individual hole. So what I did is I drilled it with an 1/8 inch hole, basically as a pilot. That way when I set it down on, I could take this small transfer punch and dink, 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 dink all the way across there. And so that way when I pull the pan off, I can see where I need to drill the bigger hole for the nut certs. And then all I got left to do is drill the actual pan itself to accept the 5/16 bolt, and we'll bolt it back on, weld the end caps on, and boom, we're done with this thing, minus the water drain in the valve and whatever. So anyways, I'm going to pull this pan back off, drill all the holes, install the nut certs, and then we'll bolt this thing on and we'll pretty much be done. Not even close. One side down, one more to go. Went ahead and I bolted the pan down. Now it's time to weld in the end pieces. Now, kind of got a little bit of a problem because, like I said earlier, when they sheared this pan, they sheared it too wide. So I've had to take this strap and suck it together, bolt it down, which is fine, but it's gonna leave a crown in the bottom of this pan. So I think I can get away with just putting this in here, and as we go along and weld it, just putting a little pressure down on it and sucking it together, and it'll be fine. It's not exactly the way I had it planned, but you know, sometimes you just gotta adjust. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing tacked into place and flip it over and do some final welding on it. See if we can get this thing watertight. Well, I did some welding. Turns out GoPro cameras, they're a piece of crap. Yeah, it shut off. So I got it tacked into place, but we'll flip this thing over and weld a full seam on the inside of it. So hopefully the camera doesn't shut down on me again. Okay, now I got her flipped over. I'm gonna take and weld an inner bead right there. Take and weld an inner bead all the way across that one, all the way across that one, along the edges, and we'll fill this thing up. See if it's gonna leak water like a Titanic or submarine with a screen door in it. I don't know. We're gonna do some welding, see if it leaks. All right, she's all welded up. I'm gonna roll this thing outside, stick the hose in it, and see how many leaks we got. Fingers crossed, we don't have any, but I'm probably not that lucky. Heck, that's not too bad. Got 3 spots where it's leaking. 2 in the corners, 1 on the back side where I kind of blew through when I was welding it and didn't notice it. But check this out, I'll show them to you. Got 1 right there, it's leaking. That one's actually the worst one of them. It's dripping pretty good. And then come around on these corners. This one's just barely seeping right there. So, while we got the water in it, we'll take the welder and tack those up. Tack that one up in that corner. I think we'll be good to go. I think I got her that time. Got her. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna let this sit for a minute and see if any others show up. I think I got them. Well, howdy there, guys. It's actually Monday afternoon, Monday evening, and I just got home from work, went in and did the old Mr. Rogers shirt change, but I guess he did it with shoes. But regardless, took the work shirt off, put the DBF work shirt on, and we're back in the garage. We're working on the Arc Droid cut table. Now, the reason this is not Sunday morning is because yesterday I took myself, Jace, and Jed, and we went and rode snowmobiles because our snowmobile season here in southern Utah is a very short one. So when you have good snow, you take that opportunity and you go ride it. And I'll put a little bit of a riding clip at the end of this video, but for now, let's get back on the Arc Droid plasma table. So the next step for this project is I need to build an arm that comes up like so and pivots here and here that can come over and hold the cable of the actual cut torch up out of the way and take the pressure off of it so the Arc Droid arm can move freely and I don't have to stand there and hold the end of the cable while it does its cutting patterns. So what we're going to use is I took some 1.25 DOM tubing, and I took these little hardware store bearings and I cut the tubing down, pressed one in each side, and the way that's going to work is we're going to take a bolt, weld that to the table, take this here arm, weld that to the tubing, and that will give us our pivot point here. We'll replicate it up on top and have another piece of tube that comes out like this that will come down with a spring and hook onto the cable. So let's get this thing mounted up and built. Boom! There's one part now. Now we just got to make a pivot point here and have another arm come out like so. That way when it moves back around, it's never in the way. I like it. Should work. So I need a bracket that's actually going to go on to this bearing right here, kind of a U shape that'll come over, and I can weld the extended arm off of it. So I've gone ahead and set up the arc joint on the plasma cutter, and I've laid me out a bracket that when I get it cut out, I can go over to the brake and bend kind of a C-shaped bracket or whatever, and then we'll weld the other arm on and be that much closer. But I'm gonna get this thing fired up and see what we can come up with. Those holes don't exactly line up. Interesting. What did I do wrong there? Well, I've obviously got something wrong in the settings, because the holes are supposed to be straight, you know, centered in the bracket, and they're off. Yeah, I don't know what's causing that. I know it's the settings, it's something I did, so I'll get back to you on that one, because I don't know. We're learning as we go. We'll learn together. So I spent a little time last night trying to figure out what I did wrong on this bracket right here when I cut it out. And like I thought, it was 100% operator error. But tried to video it, and again, my lovely GoPro just decided to not work. God, tired of GoPros. Anyhow, let me show you kind of how this works. So we came off the spindle, had this 45-degree bend, the bracket that I built. Here come the dogs, they're coming to say hi. The bracket that I built, and then I welded this 1/2-inch round tubing to it. Now I've got these 1/2-inch cushion clamps or insulated clamps with 1/4-inch bolts holding them to the tubing. These lovely little boing springs going to the actual torch cable to kind of raise it up, keep it out of the way and whatnot. And it looks like we got pretty good full range of motion the whole way across the cut space. So this should work really, really, really well. So that being said, pretty happy with how that turned out. It's gonna kind of keep things up out of the way, and so kind of gonna serve its purpose. So next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna mount this thing somewhere in this general area. Let me show you what I got for that. Sorry for the sun behind me. It's too nice of a day to not have the door open. It's just really bad timing. Here, let's move it over here. Maybe this will be better. There we go. That's a little better. So what this is this just a cheap flat screen TV mount, wall mount I got off of Amazon. I think it was literally like 12 bucks or something. And let's open it up, see what we got. So what my thought was, build a bracket off the back side of it. I'm gonna throw that anywhere. Build a bracket off the back side of it to mount that to, kind of like so. And then this little feller, super tight, doesn't need to be that tight. We'll actually mount the monitor to via this thing, or I don't know, maybe we'll make our own. But yeah, that's the idea. Kind of like kind of the same thing we did here, but a little more permanent-ish. I don't know, I guess. I don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but for now, we're gonna give her a whirl. Couple days later, and time to get the old monitor mounted to that TV stand or whatever you want to call it. And so what I did is I've drawn everything up on poster board to transfer it to metal to build the adapter for this, which will hook to this little guy. So while we're doing that, I'm going to cut out some hooks for all the cables and stuff to weld onto the side of the table to just kind of clean and consolidate everything up. So let's get these babies transferred over to the metal and cut them out, shall we? Perfect. That's gonna work pretty good, I think. The old screen mount, TV screen, you know, move it out of the way. It's got a lot of functions, and not functions, but it's got a lot of positions it can be in, and I can push it out of the way so when we're cutting, it doesn't get damaged. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find something to kind of go around that, like I don't know, some sort of elastic band or something to just kind of help secure that into place where it's easily removable and, you know, easy to store. And the old arm, you know, that thing, she works like a champ. She's dialed. So I'm pretty happy with how this thing turned out. So the biggest reason I've been pushing to get this thing done is because we've got several projects coming up that this is going to make it way easier to fabricate the new projects or fix the new projects we got coming up. So that being said, make sure you guys are liked and subscribed, and you know, notification ding ding little guy is turned on so you don't miss what we got coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. As always, I appreciate every single one of you, and thanks for watching.
Oh, big fun! Wish we had about that much more snow.
That's still a good time.
That's great. I love it. I love it. Here comes old Jed. First day on a snowmobile ever. He's going to try the hill. He's doing pretty dang good for never being on one of these. Look at him go. Nice. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Wasn't super graceful, but
You're here. Nice work. Yeah, he's getting it dialed now. Look at him go. What do you think, Jedediah? Different. Good times though, ain't it? Hello, boys. Little lunch break. Well, can't beat that view.